Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hello, good evening. Welcome. How is everybody today? I was just looking at the amount of army list submissions I have, and it's honestly wild. I thought I've been doing 8 lists, so I used to do 6 lists every week on the show. I've been doing 8 lists now for, I don't know, since the new codex came out. I don't even think I'm making a dent. There's like 50 lists that are still waiting to be reviewed. I need a minion. Or I need to clone myself. A minion would be preferable, I think, because you can, obviously, it's not illegal like cloning is illegal. You know, you're not actually allowed to make a human clone. But so I need a minion, someone else that can review these lists, because holy shit, there's like 50 lists in the backlog. Anyway, hello everybody, and welcome to our Sunday night live stream. We are here every week. We do look at Blood Angels armies. I was going to say, is there anything else to say? We're here every week to look at Blood Angels Army. You can submit a list, but God knows when I'm getting to it, because apparently since the new codex has come out, everybody is submitting lists. I think I'm getting more than 8 submissions a week. So I think I'm not actually making a dent in this backlog of submissions. I think I'm treading water. So, get all the 3 grots to do it. Yeah, I mean, I could ask them. But I mean, it's kind of a big undertaking, right? To like give up. I guess if I do 8 lists an hour, you'd have to give up. There's 50 in the backlog. Like, someone would just need to review army lists straight for 12 hours, and even then we might not even get through them all. So we'll keep going. We'll keep doing 8 lists for the foreseeable future. I've got like 90 minutes. So if I do start picking up the pace and getting through lists quicker, we're doing 90. Hey Phil, how you doing? So good evening everybody and welcome. I do always comment before the stream on whose lists are going to be live. So you'll get a comment, you'll get a ping. Did you see that Blood Angels Classic Terminators were up for pre-order? I did see they were up for pre-order, and I have some of those. For anyone that's been living under a rock, over on like the Warhammer community website, they put these Space Marine heroes of the first company. I didn't actually look at how they're selling them. Is it just a box set with all of them? The first company. This comprises 10 Space Marines, including Captain, Ancient, 3 Assault Terminators, 5 regular Terminators, and a variety of weapons. This set is available and made to order for 9 days. So I have, let's say, 3 or 4 of these guys. And they came in like blind boxes, right? You bought the blind boxes. They cost like $9 or $10. I think it was like $9 or $10 a box. And you just got a random one. You couldn't choose which one you want to get. But there's a few in this that became stupidly expensive. The guys with the Thunderhammers, or just the standard bolters, they were normal price. This Captain, I think, he's been on eBay for the last year or two at like 30 or 40 bucks. And there was one other, it might have been the Banner guy, honestly. I think one of them, I think it might have been the Banner guy, or maybe it was the Cyclone Missile Launcher guy. One of these guys was like 70 or 80 bucks, right? Like, it was crazy the markup on one of these guys. So I guess, like, depending on what they're selling this for, it's probably going to be like 70 or 80 bucks, right? They're nice. They're super nice models. I must admit, like, they are very, very nice models. They're great for conversions. I actually made like a really cool conversion with this one that's got the servo skull attached to his base. But yeah. So I guess if you here's the thing though. These guys are already kind of smaller, right? You know, they're gonna be smaller, so like essentially it's not like they're discontinued. But if they do release new Assault Terminators, these guys are going to be smaller, and they're already smaller than the new released, the Primaris Terminators. So they're kind of on the old scale. So I guess like as a collector, if you want to get these guys, cool, but they are going to be on the old scale, which I don't know if it really matters. They'll still be in the right size bases. They didn't put Terminators on bigger bases, right? So there isn't a current model on sale for the datasheet of the Terminator Ancient. Oh, you probably have to build that yourself. And like I said, I'm sure the Ancient, I think he was the one that was on eBay for stupid money, like Terminator, Ancient, Space Marine, Hero. Yeah, look, someone's trying to sell him for 140 bucks. Well, guess what? He's not going to sell for that because you're about to get 10 of them for probably like 70 or 80 bucks. That's what they look like. So they're easy. Arguably, they're easy to build as well, right? Like, because they're like 5 pieces, maybe slightly more. And they're chapter agnostic. It's important to note they are chapter agnostic. They are painted in Blood Angels here, but there's nothing Blood Angels about them. Even the banner, if you look at it on the sprue, that's actually a transfer that they've put into the middle of the banner, and I guess someone has free-handed on that Blood Angels because it's not on the plastic, right? So you could buy these guys and you could put them in any chapter. I don't know if they made that super clear here, but they are chapter agnostic. I know that because I've got a few of them. There's no wings on the Thunderhammer. Like Blood Angels Terminators usually have wings on their Thunderhammers. These guys don't have. Okay, let's jump into some army lists. We're going to start with Antonius88, and if you do enjoy tonight's stream at any point, guys, please can you leave a like on the stream? It does help the channel out. It does help the army show out, and I really do appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 19,000 subscribers before Christmas. I need to get like 212 more. Not like I'm counting or anything. So if you could leave a like on the stream, I'd very much appreciate it. Okay, Antonius is running a captain with rage, a chaplain with speed, a chaplain in Terminator armor, Dante, and the combi weapon lieutenant. All right, pretty standard sort of character picks you might see. The FOMO Chase says FOMO midget Marines for GW's earnings call. Well, at least they're bringing them back, and you're not going to get shafted for $100+ for a single model on eBay, right? Because that's what happened with the blind boxes. Like, you couldn't, unless you were willing to spend stupid money, you just couldn't get the blind boxes. That's why I have the like 3 of the popular ones. Because I'm sorry, I'm not going to spend like $50 on a single character. Okay, we've got an assault intercessor squad. We've got an impulsor. That totally makes sense. We've got another impulsor, and I'm guessing we're going to have some blade guard. We have 2 units of jump intercessors. Actually, make that 3. We have ballistic dreadnoughts times 2. Then we have the blade guard. Then we have the infiltrators. This is very sort of standard, strong Blood Angel stuff. We got the Sanguinary Guard. We got some scouts in there. I like seeing the scouts. I think they're always useful. They've got the Terminator squad. And then you said, hi John, when you get the chance to look at the list. I've given up on the Death Company for the Fight First, Blade Guard, Chaplain, and the Impulsor. Moving forward from this week, I've pretty much given up on Death Company as well. We've got the Terminator squad and 2 jump assault squads that will start in reserve. Dante and the Sanguinary Guard will be matchup dependent and may start on the board. The Dreadnoughts will provide a level of fire support as the Impulsors move up. The goal will be some level of center board control and concentrate the army to one side of the board, and then use reserve jump assault intercessors, lone op lieutenant to perform actions in what are hopefully empty areas of the board. Okay, I mean, the things that we're seeing week on week for Blood Angels, the captain with rage, the chaplain with blade guard, chaplains with terminators, Dante with sanguinary guard, lieutenant, scout, jump assault intercessors, and then double ballistic dreadnought. I mean, it all looks good, and based on what we're seeing at the World Championships of Warhammer, we're basically seeing the same thing. I wasn't actually sure we would see too many Blood Angels players taking ballistic dreadnoughts at the World Championships, but it was actually quite common. There was quite a few lists at the top tables of the World Championships with ballistic dreadnoughts, so I guess people think ballistic dreadnoughts for 130 points are actually quite good. I don't know personally if I feel like 2 ballistic dreadnoughts is enough fire support. But I guess you're trading off, right? Like, if you put in that 3rd fire support unit, then essentially you'd have to lose like a unit of Terminators or a unit and a half of jump assault intercessors. So I guess the idea here is very, very little points spent in the fire support, which is the minimum you could spend, probably 260 points. And then everything else, it gives you basically 4 combat units, I think, right? Because you've got the Dante unit, you've got the Blade Guard unit, you've got the Assault Intercessor, Rage unit, and then you've got the Terminator unit. So I think that's probably what you want to aim for with Blood Angels at the moment, is like 4 combat units that can kill stuff, and then scoring units, and my brain is just... yeah, I mean, I guess scoring units and, like, fire support units. And finding the perfect balance there is fine, right? Like, you can do 2 fire support, 4 combat units, and some action units, or you could go the other way and do 3 fire support, 4 combat units, and then you have less action units. So this list actually has a lot of action units. I would say Assault Intercessors with Jump Packs are all action units. Both Impulsors are action units. Lieutenant and Combi Weapon is action units. And so are the unit Scouts. So like you get 7 units there that can pick up secondary points. You got 4 really solid combat units. You're a tiny bit light on fire support with the Ballistus Dreadnought, but I think there's no perfect solution here, right? Because I've been going and putting that third fire support unit in. If you put that third fire support unit in and you still want the 4 combat units, then you have to give up like 2 of your scoring units. So this is just like the yin and yang. You either have a little bit more fire support and you score less, or you have more fire support. Sorry, or you have more scoring units and you have less fire support. So I think it goes either way. I think this is totally fine. I think the only option in this list would be to lose like a unit of jump intercessors and lieutenant or something that gives you 160 points. That is the points of a gladiator lancer. But like I said, I'm not even sure which is the right one at the moment. People are taking double Vindicators. Everyone taking Mephiston, and both lists had a Calidus Assassin. Yeah, a lot of people are taking Mephiston, a lot of people are taking double Vindicators, a lot of people are taking Calidus Assassins. The one thing to be aware is if you are just going to take the same as everybody else, there's a chance that in the data slate, there's supposed to be a data slate in December as far as I'm aware, those are the units that will go up in points. Calidus Assassin is still getting taken a lot. It did go up in points last time. It could go up in points again. So, there's something to be said about that. But I think there's nothing wrong with this list at all. Scouts are good. Double Impulsor is good. I actually think Terminators with a Chaplain are really good as well. But because you don't have Fight First, you could argue Terminators with a Librarian are really good as well. So that's the only real change there. That would potentially be viable, putting in the Librarian. But the thing is, I guess, I do think there's something to be said about, like, giving a lot of the Blood Angels units, the combat units, Chaplains. Because, like, the more Chaplains you have, the more easy it is to use Red Rampage somewhere else. And Dante's unit always wants to use Red Rampage. Arguably, the Captain, the Rage Fuel Captain, gets value out of Red Rampage. And all those units of Jump Intercessors could get value out of those as well. Holophos, what do you think of Aggressors in lag? Says Mr. Runner. I think Aggressors are a little bit too expensive at the moment. They were like 100 points for 3. They've put them up to 120. I'm not entirely sure if I feel like... not entirely sure if I feel like at 120 they are the most efficient. I mean, they're not bad. I just don't think they're the most efficient anymore. Jeffrey, if it's been a long time since you submitted a list, do you want me to resubmit it? Probably not. I'm just working through the backlog, Jeffrey. I mean, basically every week I run through all the comments, and I'm, like some of these lists were submitted recently, some of them were submitted a month ago. So I'm trying to make sure that I pick a decent amount and get through lots and lots of different lists. Okay, we're going to look at Danny next. He is playing his local Games Workshop. They only play 1,000 point games, so this is my list below. I was running Aggressors and some Intercessors, but quickly realised that I need some anti-tank. The spare 5 points lets me put Lamartis for Astaroth if he's situationally more useful. I would say if you're running 10 Death Company with jump packs, Lamartis is definitely the meta pick, because people think that overall... People think overall Lamartis just provides more value in more matchups. And sometimes you can fluff those devastating wounds. So I think Lamartis, like if we go look at the World Championship lists, nobody ran Astaroth, everybody will run Lamartis. Now I think Astaroth is still a good character. I prefer to run Astaroth, I think. But I guess like if you're looking at the World Championships, then Lamartis is the correct choice probably over Astaroth. So you've got Astaroth plus 10 Death Company, that's fine. You've got the Lieutenant with a Power Fist, a Mastercrafted Bolt Rifle. He is leading Assault Intercessors, and he is the Rage-Fueled Lieutenant. Interesting. Considering the Rage-Fueled Captain is only 5 more points, I would probably actually remove that Lieutenant. Or just run him as a captain. That would be what to do here, Danny. Or is it just Dan? Sorry. Yeah, that's what I would do. I just run this guy as a captain. He's 5 more points. Lieutenant model can easily be proxied as a captain. I don't think anyone would even notice. And add him to Assault Intercessors. And then that just gives him the the captain's ability, Finest Hour, to get those 9 attacks with devastating wounds and the once per game sustain 3. Lyle, is Gladius Blood Angel still worth doing? If you've got a lot of tanks and you want to run lots and lots of tanks and eradicators, then possibly Gladius is still worth doing. Is it as good as Liberator Assault Group? I don't think so. I mean, I think since Liberator Assault Group came out, everybody that was playing Gladius moved over to Liberator Assault Group. Or actually, it was when Sons of Sanguinius got moved to +2 strength. A lot of people moved away from Liberator Assault Group. I mean, it's not bad, Gladius, but I don't think it's as good as Liberator Assault Group for Blood Angels. But if you want to run lots of armor and lots of tanks and lots of dreadnoughts, then arguably Gladius is still very good. Should I drop this to 5 Death Company and take something else? No, not necessarily. I mean, it's nice to have one big, super devastating unit in 1,000 points that can just jump around the map and kill everything. 5 Incursors, 1 Death Company Dreadnought. I mean, I would consider dropping Death Company Dreadnought. I really don't think it's very competitive. The Brutalis would be better. You wouldn't be able to put these points... You can't put 2 relics on 1 character. But no, I just think the Death Company Dreadnought is rubbish. So I would run the Brutalis Dreadnought for sure. You've got a Lancer there, and you've got an Impulsor. So you would have 25 points. You know, if you've got 25 points, then I would remove the Incursors. I would swap them out for either Infiltrators or Heavy Intercessors. Incursors give your army +1 to shooting and hitting, and you don't really have much that's going to benefit from that. I mean, the Lancer already gets to reroll hits. I guess the Brutalis Dreadnought would get to reroll its multi-melta, but I don't think it's meaningful. I don't think Incursors are not very good in melee anymore. They're not very good at shooting. They're more for a shooting army. So I think I'd improve the Incursors. I think in 1,000 points you could definitely go Heavy Intercessors. But I think you could also go Infiltrators. I mean, the other thing about Infiltrators is you can kind of just use the same models that your Incursors are. And when you eventually do move up to 2,000 points, Infiltrators are such a stable and they're so important for tournament play, so you're going to want to Infiltrators, so you may as well start playing them and figuring out how to use them. Okay, let's move on. Alex. As a fellow dad, I'm trying to cut my costs by utilising the Death Company box and Combat Patrol. Okay, so we can have an idea of what he's going to have, and it's a Liberator Assault Group list. We have Dante, Lamartez, and the Rage Captain. I like keeping the number of points in your army on characters low. Not many people are doing that at the moment with Blood Angels, but I prefer to have lower points. So this is 330 points on characters. I just think it gives you more points to spend on squads or killing units or whatever you want to call them. So Dante, Lamartez, the Blood Angels Captain, Assault Intercessors, Intercessor Squad. I was going to say we've got 2 units of 5 Assault Intercessors, and then we've got 10 Assault Intercessors with jump packs. We've got 10 Death Company, 6 Vanguard, double Scouts. We're full of combat knives on the Scouts, which I do like, but I think you can probably take 1 missile launcher in each squad of Scouts because you only give up 1 combat knife attack for that 1 missile launcher attack, and sometimes the missile launcher can actually do something. So I would give the Scouts 1 missile launcher each. We then have a Ballistus, a Brutalis, and a Lancer, and an Impulsor. Okay, so, I mean, 2 units of Scouts, 2 units of Jump Intercessors. There's technically a unit of regular Intercessors here, which could do some sticky nonsense. The Ballistus, the Brutalis, and the Lancer. The one thing that's missing, I think, is the Infiltrators. And I mean, the obvious choice to get rid of the Infiltrators is obviously the Intercessors. And that's that costs 15 points. So we got to find the 15 points somewhere. Well, I guess the 15 points somewhere probably comes from the Brutalis Dreadnought or the Lancer, swapping one of those out for something that is slightly cheaper, like a Ballistus Dreadnought. We can't really mess with Lamarck as a squad. We could mess with this 10 Assault Intercessors with jump packs, so we could make it a second 5 or a third 5. We do kind of still have the four combat units. You've got your Assault Intercessors and the Impulsor, you've got the Shangri Guard, you've got the Death Company, you've got the Brutalis Dreadnought. I mean, I guess if you're just using the Death Company Dreadnought and the Combat Patrol, this is kind of fine. The way to improve this, I think, competitively is no one runs Intercessors competitively, but people do run Infiltrators. So it'd be a like-for-like swap. But then we'd be 15 points over, so we've got to find those 15 points. And I think the way you would probably find those 15 points is either the Assault Intercessor with the jump pack, cut them to 5. And then you'd be 55 points to the good, I think. 60 points to the good. So what could you do with 60 points? Well, the other thing that we don't see competitively is the Brutalis Dreadnought. Alex, you're more than welcome. I hope I give you some food for thought on your list. So yeah, the Brutalis Dreadnought we don't really see competitively. There's not too much that Blood Angels can do with 60 points, honestly, because Scouts are annoyingly 65 these days. There really isn't much you can do with it. So I think if you've got 60 points left over, then I think the question is, could we swap the Brutalis for something a little bit more expensive or a little bit more cheap? And I think cheap comes... I think double Ballistus and a Lancer is pretty strong. There could be an argument for a Vindicator tank if you've got one of those kicking around. They are obviously very competitive at the moment. But yeah, I mean, the only thing that really stands out is you have no Infiltrators. And I think that you really need Infiltrators. 2 units of Scouts, 2 units of Jump Intercessors, and an Impulsor is you're kind of fine there with the 5 scoring units, or the 5 units that can score points. So yeah, it really just comes down to the Intercessors and the Brutalis Dreadnought as the 2, I don't know what you call them, weakest picks. A Baal Predator, that's an interesting option, yeah. A Baal Predator would save you 30 points, which does get you the Infiltrators. Yeah, I mean, I would probably, if we don't want to spend too much money here and we're trying to use everything we've got, then I think a Baal Predator might be the cheapest way of doing this. Someone made a good point the other week that a Baal Predator can just do actions, and then what you do is that you use its Overwatch to fire, because it's all flamers, right? So it hits an Overwatch just the same as it would hit if it's... So Baal Predator rolls forward, does an action, and then when the opponent moves, it Overwatches. So it still gets to do the action and shoot as well, essentially. So I think I would consider doing that. But overall, I mean, the other units are totally fine, and we see them a lot, and we see them perform well. The one thing that has been surprising me recently is a lot of people are running these small units of 3 Sangre Guard. And I mean, you could argue that would work here as well, right? You could run 3 Sangre Guard. They're 135 points, lose the Ballistus Dreadnought, throw in 3 more Sangre Guard. They're unled, that's fine, save 25 points, take those 25 points, sort out the Intercessors. Sort them into Infiltrators, that would work too. So quite a few options there. Do you know what? If all the lists can be done in 5 minutes, maybe we can get some more lists into this week's show. We'll see. Wall of Vision says, yesterday and today I played Centurions and Land Raider Redeemer. It was a lot of fun. Centurions pretty much kill anything with Oath of Moment. They're so fucking strong. I'm surprised we don't see more people run them. I suppose the thing about them is they move 4 inches, which is it's banana slow. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And if you get bad advanced rolls or bad charge rolls, they do nothing. But their damage output is second to none. Like, they are, for 150 points, they will pretty much always kill like a 450 point knight in one round of combat. They're just that strong. Roman says remove the intercessors on the brutalis and place with the gladiator and infiltrators. Yeah, we're kind of on the same page there, Roman. All right, let's move on to Mark. He is running Astaroth, a chaplain with Speed of the Primarch, Dante, and the Rage Captain. So lots of people running the same 4. There's like 6. There's like 6 choices for characters, and everybody runs 4 of the 6 or 3 of the 6. Assault Intercessors, fine. Assault Intercessors with the jump pack, double Ballistas again, the Blade Guard, the 10 Death Company, the double Impulsor. So it seems to be you can take 0, 1, or 2 Impulsors. All is totally fine. You've got the Infiltrators, you've got the Annihilator, which we don't see too often. I think it's fine. We just don't see many people take it. We got the 6 Sanguinary Guard, and we got Scouts. Okay. So Dante's with the 6 Sanguinary Guard. Astaroth's with the 10 Death Company. Bear in mind that arguably it's stronger if you have Lamartes, but I think Astaroth's okay. If you're going to run Astaroth in the 10 Death Company, my advice would be to put Astaroth in the 10 into Strategic Reserve so that you bring them in rapid ingress and you 100% make your charge and you get all those devastating wounds, right? Double Ballistas is very meta. We see it all the time. Blade Guard with a Fight First Chaplain inside an Impulsor. We see that all the time. The second Impulsor with the Rage Captain and Assault Intercessors inside. We're seeing all the time. Scouts, it's good. Look, we got a missile. We got one scout here with the missile launcher. That's what I was saying earlier. You should probably have 1 scout with the missile launcher, sergeant with the chainsword, 3 guys with combat knives. Probably the best way to run the scouts. All the blades and the banner and the Sanguinary Guard. The Annihilator stands out as a bit of a strange pick. I guess it just does give you 3 more las cannons, and the interesting thing is the Annihilator sponson is actually strength 14. I didn't realize this until recently. Yeah, the twin las cannon on the Annihilator sponson for some reason is strength 14. So normally las cannons are strength 12, normally twin las cannons are still strength 12. This twin las cannon is strength 14 because it's on a predator and predators are baller or something, I don't know. But I mean, it does help if you're fighting enemy land raiders or something like that. You get to wound on 3s rather than 4s and you've got twin linked, so it does add a bit of reliability in there. So it's not the worst tank in the world. I mean, it's not the best tank in the world, but it's not the worst. And it's got a Hunter Killer Missile as well. This gives another strength 14 shot at the start. Hello David. Hello Marius, how you doing? So this is another list where I'd say most of the picks are pretty standard, pretty meta. There's nothing in this list that is like standing out at me as like you should cut this. The only thing that we don't probably see in competitive play very much is the Annihilator, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I've run the Predator Destructors a lot. I think they're fine, and the Annihilator's pretty similar. Just a little bit more anti-tank than maybe the anti-infantry that the Destructor has. Yeah, I mean, like the only thing that would get flagged that isn't the most competitive would be some people are flagging Astaroth is not as good as Lamartes. There's new rumours of points soon, and no more 4-up in Fun. No more 4-up in Fun for what, David? The Sanguinary Guard? I mean, Sanguinary Guard are toughness 4. They still die hella fast, it feels like. I wonder what kind of change the Grotmus detachment will have on the amount of lists you have coming in for review, says Victor. It will only make it worse, Victor. I'm needing a minion. Like one of those little yellow minions. No, I need a real minion to help me make to review more army lists. I think it'll only make it worse. Well, do you know what? It'll do two things. It'll either make it worse, or it'll be a detachment that isn't competitive and nothing will change. So, hey, I mean, there's worse problems to have than I get too many list submissions. You know, when I started this YouTube channel, nobody submitted lists. Nobody cared what I had to say. So I'm glad that some people care now. Thanks so much for being here, guys. We've got 79 people in the chat. We do only have 31 likes on the stream, so I do have to ask again if we could hit the like button if you feel like I am in any way useful to you in your Blood Angels lists. I do appreciate it. Alright, we're looking at Walking Dead 69. We're firing through them tonight. I'm going to try and keep going quick, and I'm going to try and get a few extra people. I saw Jeffrey was asking. We'll try and get Jeffrey onto the show tonight as well. Okay, this is my list for the next tournament. I have the Blade Guard with a Chaplain and an Impulsor. This is my favourite combo. Yay! This is like one of my favourite combos right now. I think it's so fucking good. I feel Astaroth does more work than Lamarta's. That's how I feel. But all the competitive players take Lamarta's. So, there you go. Do what it will, you know. All the competitive players take Lamarta's, but Astaroth's got a fucking big axe, man. He's just cool. And Devastating Wounds on the charge are cool. Okay, Astaroth, the Rage Captain, the Speed of the Primarch, Chaplain, and Dante. I mean, I think up until recently, they're these exact four characters that most people are running as well. Assault Intercessor squads ×2 and one Impulsor. Jump Assault Intercessors ×2, Ballistas ×2, Blade Guard ×6, Death Company ×10, Infiltrators ×5, Sanguinary Guard ×6, Scouts ×2. Okay, I mean, there's another very, very standard Blood Angels list. Astaroth with 10, Blade Guard with the Chaplain, Fight First, Rage Fueled Warrior with the Assault Intercessors, in the Impulsor, Dante with 6. And then the one question mark here, I suppose, is the second squad of Assault Intercessors. Like, I think we didn't have Infiltrators? Oh no, we do have Infiltrators. Alright, so the question is, I guess this second squad of Assault Intercessors for 75 points are just filling, they're just filler, right? Like, you just couldn't fit anything else in. Because we've got 2 units of Scouts, we've got 2 units of Assault Intercessors with the jump packs, we've got the Impulsor as well, so we've got 5 units that can score action, so this is essentially just like another action type unit. Howdy Steel Rain, how are you doing? Have you seen that Sanguinary Guard are like becoming the... Sanguinary Guard in 3 Steel Rain is the new shit, apparently. Do you know what the reason is that a lot of competitive lists are not running Assault Intercessors? A lot of them run 5 with that captain inside the Impulsor, but I guess people don't really see much point in running more than 5. I kind of agree with that. I mean, you could run 2 captains, plus 2 units of Assault Intercessors and 2 Impulsors. I think that's fine as well. Is there any room left to make that second unit of Assault Intercessors into Outriders? I ran them yesterday in RTT and the durability rocks. That's why I've been running the Outriders at 80 points. I think their durability is good. No, in this list there's nothing you can give up to swap those into Outriders. Do you know what? The one thing you could change those into, and this is like a left field pick, and Campbell will like it, is you could swap that 5 Assault Intercessors into Reavers or Suppressors. Now, because he doesn't have points for anything else, Suppressors and Reavers are both 75 points. In this list, I would be willing to swap those out, because I think Suppressors just coming down and making enemies -1 to hit, or Reavers, because Reavers have deep strike and Assault Intercessors do not. Then I could get on board with a Reaver squad here. They do have Scout.
Alex McPherson donated $9.99 via Super Chat. What would you like to see in the new Grotzmas detachment? What is on your Xmas list for your army?
What would I like to see in the Grotz detachment? Oh, good question. I think, Alex, what we want to see is something that competes with Liberator Assault Group competitively, right? Because any other detachment is irrelevant. Because if you look at this army show tonight, like, every list so far is Liberator Assault Group. Last week it was like 7 Liberator Assault Groups. There's like 1 Angelic Host sneaking in. It's just like 95% of Blood Angels players are not caring about anything but Liberator Assault Group. Unless you're just trying to be quirky or playing Crusade or just very casual, you're all in Liberator Assault Group. It's too much better than the other ones. The +2 strength, the +1 attack is just too much better. Too much better? That's like the ugliest world ever. But you know what I'm trying to say. It just takes Blood Angels up a level. It takes like Chain Swords from being average strength 4 to strength 6. You know, like that's a 50% increase in strength. It's just too good, I guess. So I'm hoping for something that makes us. I'm hoping for something that gives us an alternative to Liberator Assault Group. I don't care about much else than that. Just give us an alternative so we're not stuck with one detachment. I'm so out of the loop at this point, says Steel Rain. I'm flirting with it again, but my money for new Blood Angels Go had to fix my truck, so may have to wait a bit. Well, what I did, Steel Rain, was I took my old Sangre Guard models, I bought the new sized bases, like 40mm bases is what they're on. I bought 12 of them and literally glued them on top. Because I guess if you glue them onto the bigger bases, like your old models, it adds like, what, a quarter of an inch to their height, makes them more like the Primaris size, and they're on the right bases, and I didn't have to buy any of the new Sangre Guard. I have actually bought 6 of the new Sangre Guard, but I haven't really even started painting them or making them. I've made one, and it was for a video. Daryl, we just touched on the new detachment. Alex, thanks so much for the super chat, dude. I do really appreciate it. What's on the Xmas list for the army? I don't know if I'm needing anything right now, Alex. I've got that impulsor to get done. I've got more Sangre Guard and more Death Company than I know what to do with. So I'm not entirely sure what is on my Xmas list for my army. My Xmas wish is to get more time to paint without my kids, honestly. Yeah, this list is fine. I think everything in it is good. It's got enough scoring units. It's got enough killing units. It's a little bit light on that double ballistas as the fire support, but we agree that is okay. It really just comes down to that one unit assault intercessors. I would replace them. Suppressors or reavers. I would try both. Detachment wise, I feel like they will do something with Terminators. They might, because Blood Angel. There was a rumor that Blood Angels were going to get a new assault Terminator force. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, right? That would be cool to see some upscaled assault Terminators and maybe get some better rules for them, but I doubt it. I guess we'll find out. Steel Rain says the next... Yeah, I mean, it is time to buy some of those Primaris vehicles, yes, for sure. If you don't have any Steel Rain, unfortunately, the all-melee way of playing Blood Angels is kind of coming to an end, I think. Hi Tom, how you doing? Suppressors or scouts might be good instead of the second assault intercessor squad. Yeah, I mean, you could add the third unit of scouts, that would be fine, but I think you already have 2 units, so I don't know if you necessarily need 3 units of scouts. I've played 3 units of scouts, it's okay. Usually, though, I feel like 2 units of scouts is more than enough. I really hope we don't get a buddy system detachment. You mean where we can attach models from other chapters? That might happen, because that happened in Arcs of Omen, remember that? Where we could like take Gilliman with the Blood Angels. I mean, that was pretty fun, though, I must admit. Alright, let's move on to Gareth's list. We've got that Rage Captain, surprise, surprise. We've got the Captain with the Jump Pack. We've got a Chaplain with Speed of the Primarch, surprise, surprise. And we've got Lamartas. Surprise, surprise. I shouldn't say surprise, surprise, because everybody is building strong lists at the moment, and we know what the strongest stuff is, so this stuff's all good. Assault Intercessor Squad and the Impulsor, great. Second Impulsor, that'll be the Blade Guards Impulsor. We have 3 units of Jump Assault Intercessors, really good. 2 units of Ballistas Dreadnoughts. There's the Blade Guard, there's the 10 Death Company, there's the 6 Sanguinary Guard, and then we've got the Vindicator tank to add to the 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts. And you know what? I basically did this week, or last week, or the week before. I was running a Ballistus Dreadnought, a Predator tank, and a Vindicator tank, and I was wondering to myself, is a single Vindicator tank viable for Blood Angels? Spoiler alert, the Vindicator's been like the MVP for me the last few weeks. When you point that Vindicator tank at anything with Oath of Moment, it just deletes it. I mean, it doesn't always kill it, but it's just too many Strength 14 hits, right? Like, it's just... You know, like at the end of the game against the World Eaters, I was like, oh, I need the Vindicator tank to do some work. Roll a 5. Okay, it just gets 8 Strength 14 hits. Oath of Moment, you know. So I'm gonna... Like, you're basically dead. I think I did 10 wounds to the guy. He's got like 4 wounds in the final turn. I think a single Vindicator tank is actually really, they're just really good. I don't think they're going to survive into 11th edition, but a single Vindicator tank added to some other fire support is really, really good. I'd even consider starting the Vindicator off the board because it's got shitty range, and just bring it in turn 2 or 3 from strategic reserve. I mean, when you bring it in turn 2 and 3, you can pretty much guarantee it hits what it needs to hit with Oath of Moment on it, and it's probably going to guarantee like a decent bit of damage. It gets that Hunter Killer missile the first turn, so even if you roll a 1 for the number of shots, if you use the Hunter Killer as well, you're still getting 5 Strength 14 hits with Oath of Moment. That's still significant, I feel like. And if you roll a good number, then suddenly you've got 10 Strength 14 hits. It's just too good. Sanguinary Guard with Dan... Oh no, this is Sanguinary Guard with a Captain. I prefer Dante to lead the Sanguinary Guard. I think the +1 to hit means you can use your Oath of Moment elsewhere, but Captain is fine. I mean, it makes them Strength 9, so potentially you don't need to use Red Rampage on them as often. The double Impulsor with the Rage Captain and the Chaplain with Fight First is good. Lamartus +10 is good. Assault Intercessors, you got loads of them. You don't have any scouts, and I am changing my list recently to make sure I am bringing some scouts back in, because I think scouts are just too good to ignore. The pick up, put down kind of always scores points. The Combi Weapon Lieutenant always does score points as well, Lewis, you are right. So that's the one thing I would say about this list is I felt like I had to change my list because I got rid of all my scouts, and I think the scouts are just too good. Like, the only thing you could potentially cut here to get some scouts is an Assault Intercessor squad. But then I guess you're left with 25 points and no real way to spend them. Alright, there's a way to spend them. In this list, what I do is I'd cut one of your Assault Intercessor squads with jump packs. I put in a unit scouts. It would free up 25 points. What I do with those 25 points is I would give this captain the Gift of Foresight. That lets him change 1 dice roll to a 6 every... Is it every turn? I've never used it. Gift of Foresight. Once per battle round. Okay. So 5 times during the game. When you make a hit roll, a wound roll, or a saving throw, you can treat the result as a 6 instead. So you roll your dice, and then you can flip something to a 6. So what I would do in this case is I would actually swap this guy's Power Fist to a Thunderhammer, because then when we roll to wound, maybe we get 1 6, and then we just flip another random dice that we didn't wound with to another 6. Suddenly we're doing 4 dev wounds. There's worse things you could do. You would have 10 points left over still, and you would get the scouts in, and I think scouts score points. What website is this? It's just 39k.pro. I'll put it in chat for you. It works really well on your phone, that's why I use it. I don't know who set it up or whatnot, but I mean, it's kind of easier to use in the Games Workshop app, honestly, because the search is really, really good. You can see how powerful it is there. How do I submit a list for review when this stream ends, Greg? Put your list like this, a text file as like an export from the Games Workshop app into the comment section, and we'll get it in a future video. Okay, we're going to look at Sanguinary Priests list next. Hello, Bloody Angels Commander. Could I get a review of this list? I've been playing with a friend, but I want to take a stab at competitive. I've done minimum size units for Death Company as I want trading options and still punchy. Do you know what? I've just dropped the minimum size units for Death Company from my list because I don't think I like them anymore. Unsure of heavy intercessors vs infiltrators, but I like their survivability. Again, I had heavy intercessors on my list. I dropped them because infiltrators are just the safer, more staple tournament pick. Otherwise, I think everything list is fairly standard. Blood Angels, Captain Bomb, Fight First Blade Guard, plenty of objective grabbing with Jump Intercessors and Outriders. Dante with the Sanguinary Guard, Jump Chaplain with the Death Company, both in reserve for rank Pridingress round 1 and 2. I recently purchased Extra Ballistas, so keen to see what 3 can do. Okay, let's have a look. We've got the Captain with Rage, we've got the Chaplain with Fight First, we've got a Jump Chaplain, that'll be with those Death Company, and we've got Dante. Alright, pretty standard stuff. Strong but standard. Assault Intercessors and Heavy Intercessors. So the Assault Intercessors will be with the Captain, the Heavy Intercessors will be that backfield unit he was talking about. Impulsor for the Assault Intercessors. Jump Intercessors times 2, 3 Ballistas Dreadnoughts, Fight First Blade Guard, 2 minimum size unit Death Company, and these are the guys that I just dropped because I just don't think these have any survivability whatsoever. And what I've been seeing is in competitive play is people are not running these in 5s anymore. People are starting to run 3 Sanguinary Guard. And I guess if you compare them like for like, right? Because this is what I started thinking. 3 Sanguinary Guard are 5 more points per unit. But 3 Sanguinary Guard do indeed have an invuln save and -1 to hit. And I guess when you compare those two things together, and they have a 2-up save as well, so they're natively stronger against low AP weaponry. It does make you wonder. And I think I need to do a video where we compare those 5 Death Company against the 5 Sanguinary Guard and figure out what, or the 5 Death Company with jumps against the 3 Sanguinary Guard and figure out why people are now switching to the 3 Sanguinary Guard. We got the unit of Outriders and we got the unit of 6 Sanguinary Guard. So I think 3 Ballistas Dreadnoughts is totally fine. I think 2 units of Jump Intercessors is fine. I think you do have, like, if you're trying to play competitive, you can't take Heavy Intercessors because the enemy will drop something really nasty behind your lines and they'll kill all your Heavy Intercessors and you'll lose your home field objective. Well, that just does not happen if you've got Infiltrators. So we've got to change something anyway because we need to find 5 points to get those in. And I tried Heavy Intercessors. I like them. I think they're good for 95 points. I really do think they're good for 95 points. They're durable, but they don't give you they just don't give you the same security in your backfield. It's the same reason as always, Steel Rain. Sanguinary Guard are the shit. Yeah, every time someone says that, I actually need to buy a cowbell, don't I? You know, like, I got, what's it you said in that skit? He's like, I got a fever, and the only thing that can cure it is more Sanguinary Guard. So 2 units of Jump Intercessors, a unit of Outriders, there's no Scouts, and there's 2 small 5-man units of Death Company. So just having played recently and I'm trying to figure out my tournament list at the moment, I give you my 2 cents, and my 2 cents are the Death Company in 5s are not that good anymore. Their shooting is non-existent. They used to have 5 Infernal Pistols and they used to reroll hits. Now they have no reroll hits and they basically have 1 Infernal Pistol. So you do very little to no damage with them. They do still do a bit of damage in melee, but then they just die. And I think for the points you pay for them, it's actually really hard to get the trades out on these now. So if you go back 2 weeks, I had the exact same thing. I had 2 5-man Death Companies armed like this. 2 weeks ago, I decided I didn't think it was good and I dropped one of them. And now I've dropped both of them. So I just don't play them anymore. And one of the things that I have used the points, because I think these guys are kind of too expensive to play, or these guys are a lot of points, I've used some of those points to get that unit of Scouts in because I realised that I was really missing, you know, the Scouts have that rule where you can pick them up and put them down every turn. It's super strong for scoring. It's almost like you just, at the end of your opponent's turn, if that unit is more than 6 inches away from enemies, you can remove it and place it in strategic reserve. So it's almost like you just deploy Scouts in the very corner of the board. And in turn 1, you just pick them straight up. You put them down every turn. you put them down as safe as fucking possible so they last the whole game and they can still do actions and behind enemy lines and retrieve teleport homers and all that nonsense all the way through the game. Many streams in the past, I always said the Sanguinary Guard needed an invulnerable save. I did. I always hoped they would get like a 5-up invuln. 4-up invuln is possibly better than I thought, but I still think they're very expensive. But it does seem like people are now running 3-man Sanguinary Guard and doing really well with it. I need to actually text somebody and see if I can get a game on Wednesday night, because let me text Colin. I'll do it right now while I remember. Are you free Wednesday? Because I want to actually play the 3-man Sanguinary Guard and see how that goes. Because I'm dropping all the 5-man Death Company units. I think if you want to play Death Company, you can still play them. You play them in a 10 with Lamartis or Astaroth. I think that's still decent, but I don't like them in 5s anymore. I don't think they do enough damage. They're not like the Incisor unit that they were before, and they don't survive. So before, they'd probably be able to jump in and kill something completely, right? So they kill something completely because they've got 5 Infernal Pistols and 5 Power Fists. So then you get to do the whole thing again. And they were really strong. Even though they're only 10 points more expensive, they were really strong because typically they could jump in and they would kill something 100%. Now they don't kill something 100%. So what happens is, whatever they didn't kill 100% swings back and kills half the squad, and then suddenly the squad's neutered. And they're no use anymore. Steel Rain is going to send me the Need More Sanguinary Guard meme so we can get it on the stream. It's been a long time. It's such a poor quality image as well. But we'll open it. There we go. Okay. We need more Sanguinary Guard. So that's what people are running now. So in this list, I think, for me, the 2 units that could potentially be cut are these. It would be good to get some scouts back. It would be good to try 3-man units of Sanguinary Guard, because that's what all the big World Championships lists were playing, and the Heavy Intercessors need to go. As much as I like Heavy Intercessors, and I've got them, and I was building my second squad of them, you just can't take them. You have to take Infiltrators. Infiltrators are like your vegetables. You don't want to eat them, but you just have to. Right? Like, you just need the Infiltrators. Not a bad list, though, Sanguinary Priest. You're almost there. Let's talk about Thomas's list. Is there a world where Heavy Intercessors make sense for Blood Angels? I was using them a lot when you used to be able to teleport them around with the Librarian, and I thought they were Librarian Dreadnought. I thought they were really good for then, because you just teleport them onto a side field objective, and they've got the extra toughness, and they got 3 wounds per mod. Like, if you actually look at their stats, like T6, 3 wounds per model, only 95 points. Like, there's nothing bad there. That's all good. And if they're standing on objective, they get to ignore 1 AP as well, or they get +1. They get +1 to their save. That's what it is. So if you're on an objective in cover and you play Armor of Contempt, you're ignoring 3 AP, which is batshit crazy. For like, they're 95 points, ignoring 3 AP. And they're 3 wounds per model. Like, they are really good. They're just not the unit that's sit in your backfield. And they work so well when you could teleport them around. Have I seen the Deathwatch heavy bolt rifles? I haven't looked at the Deathwatch index. It came out yesterday, I think, or Friday. It was my kid's birthday yesterday, so I've been very busy. All right, Thomas. Thomas says, I'm wanting to run fast Blood Angels. I'll be able to hide as much as possible. I don't want to make sure I have to kill monsters and vehicles. I'll just run from them. Let me know what you think. All right, well, I'll let you know what I think this week. Thomas says, I played Angron from World Eaters, and that mother moves 22 inches and then can charge. So, just for the record, we have nothing that can move 22 inches. So you cannot run from Angron. You have to stand and fight. So as much as the strategy is that you can dance around things, yeah, maybe if you're playing Death Guard, you can dance around things. But if you play World Eaters, you're not dancing around. Angron moves 22 inches. Almost guaranteed every turn he moves 22 inches. And then he charges. 22 inches literally meant he can come on any side of the board and basically charge into the center of the table. Like, he can be anywhere. I don't even remember how many. Angron's got like, was it 18 attacks or something? It was ridiculous. I was like, why does he have 18 attacks? Like, Angron. He has, 18. He gets +1 attack and charging as well, remember? So 19 attacks at strength 9. That's useful. You can reroll ones as well. My Blade Guard did a bolt. My Blade Guard basically wiped him in one turn, but he's still going to be everywhere. I got a new detachment coming in the next few weeks, and the Space Marine fixes and the Data Slate, all Blood Angels knowledge is going out the window by the end of the month, says Calgar. Well, we'll see. We'll see. You think the new detachment will be better than Liberator Assault Group? Because if it is, we'll be very happy, I would have thought. Alright, so we've got Astrath, the Captain, Dante, and Lamartez, very standard. Assault Intercessor with the jump packs ×2, Death Company ×10, twice. So you've got Astrath with 10, Lamartez with 10. We've got 2 squads of Inceptors. We've got the Sanguinary Guard. We've got a unit of jump pack veterans. Vanguard veterans with jump pack, excuse me. These guys haven't got the right... Like, these guys should either have Storm Shields or Infernal Pistols. They should definitely not have Bolt Pistols. That's not a good way to run them. So I have seen some lists do okay with the 2... Like, we saw some lists do okay at tournaments with 10 Death Company with Lamartez and 10 Death Company with Astrath. It's not my favourite way to play, because that's like so many points into 2 units. And then if you add Dante and his unit as well, basically over half your army is in those 3 units, right? Because that's like 350 plus 350 plus 400. Yeah, 1100 points, and you've got 1100 points in 3 units, and then you've got 2 more units of Inceptors. So you actually only have 5 units here, and that's like 1600 points. So what have you got left? Then you've got the 1 unit of Vanguard Veterans. You got the 2 units of Jump Intercessors. And I guess you've got a Captain attached to one or the others. Yeah, so there is, like, in my opinion of this list is, like, there is not enough. Let me think what I'm trying to say. There's not enough different units, so you don't have enough units to do actions and score stuff, right? Like, you do not have enough units that can score secondaries. You don't have any unit that can sit in your backfield, like there is no infiltrators. You also do not have any fire support that can actually deal with high toughness enemies. So if you play knights or something of that nature, you're going to have a very difficult game, because Inceptors are not going to kill knights. I've seen it firsthand where Inceptors very much just bounce off knights. You're only wounding on 5s. Sure, you have twin linked, but you are only wounding on 5s. And when you start overcharging all those plasmas to try and kill knights, you're probably going to kill some of your own guys. This is definitely not my favourite Blood Angels list at all. In fact, I probably just flat out wouldn't run this. I think like 260 points for me at the moment. Like, if I would rather take Inceptors or 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts, I would take the 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts all day long. I think it's more durability. I think it's probably just as much damage, and it's more long range damage, and it can deal with more different types of enemies. But yeah, I also think there's just not enough different units, because you've got like 7 or 8 units in this list, and if you get a couple of secondaries that require you to do like actions on 3, and that is quite what's that? You get containment, where you got to do actions on 2 sides of the board, or you get recovered assets, where you got to do an action in your deployment zone, no man's land, the enemy deployment zone. If you only got 8 units on the board, you can't have 3 of them doing actions to get points. So running all, like, I guess if a unit is over 350 points or 400 points with the Sanguinary Guard, it's essentially a Death Ball unit, right? Like, or a Death Star unit. It's a unit that put an awful lot of points in, but only can do one thing at a time. So for me, this list is going to... It's quite a killy list, don't get me wrong, right? Like, if you fight orcs or something, you're going to kill the shit out of the orcs, and you'll probably beat orcs because you're just going to kill them all over the place. Plasmas are going to evaporate orcs, Sangry Guard will evaporate orcs, 2 big units of 10 Death Company will evaporate orcs. But you're not going to have very much left that's actually going to sit around and sit on objectives or score points on objectives and do stuff like that. If knights lose a toughness, I think they'll lose it from the large knights. I think armigers will still be toughness 10. So I can't imagine like plasmas are suddenly massively better against knights, right? Does that make sense? So yeah, for me, this list is just not my favorite. It's not my jam. I think there's a reason that Games Workshop try to put some of the point costs on those minimum size Blood Angels models up, or minimum size Blood Angels units up, because they're arguably just too good, right? All right, let's see if we can. I've got like 20 minutes here. We're going to throw an extra couple of lists into the pool. We've got one here by BBEMN. So we'll get him on the show right now, and we will get. Let me see if I can find this list by Jeffrey, because he was asking when his list is going to be reviewed. Anyone in chat right now? Let's take one more. Anyone in chat right now waiting for their list to be reviewed? Whoever's first, we'll see if we can get you. Jeffrey Smith. I don't see a list submitted by you, Jeffrey. Are you in Discord, Jeffrey? Can you message me your one on Discord? All right, let me see what's what. So I just see like Andrew says he submitted one last week. Quay, you were in the chat. Here we go. 13 days ago. Let's grab you. All right. This is how I do it. I love heart it, and then I reply, oh, Labartes. All right. We're going to do you as well. We're going to do it quick fire, though, because I've got 20 minutes. All right. Jeffrey, message me your one. And we'll try and do them. We will try. Where am I? All right. A bit unorthodox, but just trying to get through as many as we can so we get everybody done. All right, BBMN. He's called a list called Battling It Out. We've got Captain of the Jump Pack with Speed of the Primarch and Thunderhammer, Dante, Lamartes. Assault Intercessors, Impulsor, Jump Intercessors, a single Ballistas, 10 Death Company, a single Lancer, Infiltrators, Outriders, Sangry Guard times 2 6s, and the Scouts. Okay. I did a quick update to focus on mobility. I'd like to keep one unit of Sangry Guard and Dante in reserve, return to Rapid Ingress, play aggressively with other units Sangry Guard to buy space for my Outriders and Scouts to score primary. I'd use the Death Company and Punch Captain for elimination threat. Jump Intercessor to do secondary, but I do think I would weaken that department. Okay. So Salt Intercessor and the Captain. Dante with 6. Lamarta's with 10. The Jump Captain with 6 as well. Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing, right? This is the same as we're talking about, right? We've got like basically three Death Star type units. Then we've got Lancer, Ballistus. We do have Infiltrators. For secondaries, we've got Scouts, Outriders, the Impulsor, and probably 1 unit of Jump Intercessors. So yeah, that he kind of hits the nail on the head himself here. BBEMN, I don't know how the hell you say that. We've got, I was going to say, we've got 4 very strong combat units. Dante's unit, the Sangre Guard unit with the Jump Captain, Lamarta's unit, and then the Captain unit as well. And because that's like 2 big units of Sangre Guard, that is just a lot of points. The Lancer and the Ballistus Dreadnought, like, potentially the play here would be to swap one of those Sangre Guard units down to a 3, or lose this Captain completely and make this 2 3s. And then if you lose the Captain completely, you could actually get like another unit of Scouts. 110 points is a really awkward number of points, though, isn't it? Like, there's not too much you can do with 110 points. I think possibly the way to do that would be to, like, lose the 110 points and maybe even lose the unit of Jump Intercessors. I'm reluctant to do that and add 2 more squads of Scouts. But I guess, do you know what? Maybe the better option in this list would be to keep that Jump Captain and take this unit of Sangre Guard and make it into 3. That gives you back 135 points. That is 2 units of Scouts. So add in 2 units of Scouts. And then you did have to give up 3 Sangre Guard, but you still have 3 with a Captain. They can still do a good bit of damage. That Captain does have a Thunderhammer. Fight First, potentially. I mean, the Fight First potentially might not even be needed. It might be better to just go Gift of Foresight. And then add in another unit of Scouts, another unit of Outriders or something. 4 units that score actions is not enough. I've been running 5 and it's not enough. So if you've got 4, I can tell you 4 units is not enough. So you're not too far away, I think, but I would change that. And oh, what's happened here? I've lost a list. Have I lost a list? Or did I paste both into the same one? Lamartez. Oh, where the fuck is it? QA's list didn't paste. God damn it. Hold on. This is what happens when I try and be smart and do something in the middle of the stream. Where was it? How do I... QUAY. Search for QUAY, nothing. God, I honestly hate the YouTube, the back end of the YouTube. Like, it's junk. There's a filter that's supposed to let you search. It's just absolute junk. Yeah. Okay. Give me a second here. We're gonna have to pull up. I know that you posted it 13 days ago. I'm literally gonna have to scroll till we get to 13 days ago and then go through the comments one by one. This is why I don't reply the way I do, because the filter in the back end is garbage. It wouldn't be a problem, but like this, like this is what my comment section looks like. It's just like, at some point, I think it was around like 15,000 subscribers, I gave up trying to reply to all the comments because it would be a full-time job to reply. And then sometimes people think that I'm ignoring them, and it's like, no, I'm not ignoring you. I just don't have fucking time in the day to answer all the comments. I found it, thank goodness. All right, here we go. I literally searched for it by... I literally typed in the search, Q-U-A-Y. Maybe it was case sensitive. It's not case sensitive, surely. Q-U-A-Y. No. When I searched for Q-U-A... Like... Look, I'll fucking prove it to you. Look, search for Q-U-A-Y. No references. No comments found. Try removing search filters. Fuck off, YouTube. Alright. Q-Dog. Quaydog. Hello. The 2,000 point list I've been battling around. Most of my choices should be pretty self-explanatory. I've been trying to distill some strong and consistent that covers all of our bases. A possible change might be switching Astroth or Lamartez. I mean, like, Lamartez is seen as the more competitive option. The jump captain with gift for Dante. I think Dante's really good. I'd keep him. And lose a scout squad to squeeze in infiltrators. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have infiltrators, we might need to keep those, in my opinion. Okay, so we got the Blood Angels captain with rage. We've got the speed of the Primarch chaplain. We got Dante and Lamartez. This is all good so far. Assault intercessors with an impulsor, and the other impulsors with the fight first blade guard. I get it. It's good. 2 units of jump intercessors is good. 10 Death Company with Lamartez is good. 6 Sanguinary Guard with Dante is good. Double Scouts is probably pretty useful. Double Vindicator is also seen as very, very good. So double Vindicator, double Scouts, double Jump Intercessors, double Impulsor. I mean, you got a lot of stuff. That's like 6 units that can score actions, right? Yeah, no infiltrators. That's your problem. Everything else is solid, though, right? All the characters are solid. The combat squads are solid. Double Vindicator is actually really doing well competitively right now for Blood Angels. How many points was this exactly? 2,000. Yeah, that's awkward. Because I do think that you do want those infiltrators. What is going to be the least disruptive to get the infiltrators? A unit of jump assault marines plus the scouts is 155. That will give you the infiltrators, and it leaves you a very awkward 55 points left over. Yeah, super awkward. Everything else is solid. It's just those infiltrators, and they're so important, man. It's not like it's a Google search. It's not like it's Google, a search company, right? Right? Add a tech marine for the Vindicators. Yeah, why not? Okay, yeah, Lamartez, you convinced me. Yeah, let's do that. Let's lose a scout squad. Let's lose an assault intercessor squad. A tech marine to keep the Vindicators alive is not the worst thing in the world. Giving one of the Vindicators +1 to hit is not the worst thing in the world. And if the Vindicators do die, then the Tech Marine does get buffed with 3 extra attacks. So I would do that. The Tech Marine can be an action monkey because he is still able to give a Vindicator plus... He can give a Vindicator +1 to hit and repair it and still do an action. There's not often times where I recommend a Tech Marine. But I think this could actually be a good list for him. And the infiltrators, like we said earlier in the stream, they're just too important not to have. Especially when you've got like Demons of Chaos that can deep strike within 6 inches and they'll fucking wipe out. If you've got a unit of scouts on your home field objective, they're 100% kill the scouts, and then you lost your home field objective and you've got to send your army back home, and it's an absolute nightmare. So, and I think some people have... Miguel saying Tech Marine can do work. Tech Marine with a Rage-Fueled Warrior when he's Berserk would be kind of stupid. I think the Captain's probably still better, though. Just because the Captain gets those potential devastating wounds, Lewis. Alright, Lamartez. Hi, John. A list for you to review. Played this list 3 times now, tweaking for a tournament in December and February. Currently won all 3 games against World Eaters, Dark Angels, Black Templars. I tend to play 2 jump intercessor squads on the field, 1 deep strike with the Terminators and the Sanguinary Guard. I aim to get the Terminators down center board to hold the middle, and the Blade Guard and the Assault Terminators and the Impulsor fight over the flanks. Sanguinary Guard, Rapid Ingress where needed. Okay. The Captain, the Chaplain, the Fight First Terminator Chaplain, and Dante. We've got the Assault Intercessors, we've got the Impulsors. I'm assuming the second Impulsor will be Blade Guarded. We've got 3 units of Jump Intercessors. We've got those double Gladiator Lancers. It was good to see Lancers did some work at the World Championships, because we hadn't seen Lancers do too well recently. We've got the 6 Sanguinary Guard, and then we've got the YOLO 10-man Terminator squad. Good for you fielding the 10-man Terminator squad. Not many people have the balls to do that, do they? You might be a little shy on units, on action units, right? Because you're not doing an action with your Sanguinary Guard or your Blade Guard or your Terminators. So you're doing all your actions with your 3 units of Jump Intercessors and your 2 Impulsors. I mean, it is 5 action units, which is kind of where I said is the minimum. I had 5 action units in my list up until this week. And I'm changing it to get a unit of Scouts in, because I think the Scouts are too good not to have. So I guess 5 action units is fine. You're kind of right there. No infiltrators. There could be an argument there that, like, the Terminators could take a hit on guys to get infiltrators in. What do you do when Chaos Demons decide to deep strike in your backfield with 6 and kill off your Lancers? And I mean, that's why you have infiltrators, just to make all that stuff safe. You're not going to want to react. Like, you're not going to want to place your 10-man Terminator in your own deployment zone to deal with nasty shit deep striking in your own deployment zone. And that's the way I see it. If you've got the infiltrators, you don't need to worry about that. In the video I did on Friday, because on Friday I did this video where we looked at the best lists, right, from the World Championships of Warhammer. And what did I say in that video about infiltrators? So infiltrators were present in 75% lists. So I guess you don't have to have infiltrators, just sometimes it will come back to bite you in the ass when you don't have them. Just wanted to share my Rage Fueled Captain, got 0 6s on 9 hits rerolling yesterday. Everyone was waiting for the big combo and it flopped. Do you know what? I did the exact same thing like last week, dude. I got 1 6 on my Rage Fueled Captain. He didn't kill very much and it flopped. So it's hard. He can actually be kind of hard to rely on. I think the week after that I did 5 6s and it just burst crazily. So he goes both ways. I get it. Yeah, Lamartez, I think it's decent. I do think it's a decent list. I guess just the lack of scouts and the lack of infiltrators have me a little bit worried. And I always tell people to play their lists, right? To play the game, the list, whatever, and then don't make changes. Like, don't change your list from what I say. Play some games, think about what I said, and then maybe make some changes after that. I think that's generally the best way to do it, rather than just wildly changing because some random guy on the internet told you that you should change your list. Yeah. Jeffrey, where the hell was your list? Or are you happy for me to get you first thing next week? But yeah, like, I tried to not have infiltrators. I tried to not have scouts. I'm back. You know, like, basically every time you try and have something that's not meta, and then you're like, oh yeah, shit, I just need the meta thing. There's a reason that everybody takes infiltrators, or most people do. There's a reason everyone takes scouts. They're just that good. Okay, we're gonna wait on Jeffrey. You'll post it here, Jeffrey. Yes, you post it there, Jeffrey. I'll remember that you said this. We'll get you first next week. That way we get through 11 lists tonight, or maybe it was even 12. I don't know, 11 or 12. Maybe I made a little bit of backlog. We'll see. we'll see. Guys, thanks so much for watching. It's nice to hang out with you all every Sunday. I do appreciate all the support. If you wouldn't mind liking the video before you leave. I think this week I am going to do a tactics video around those 3-man units of Sangre Guard, because they're just popping up everywhere. Everyone's using 3 Sangre Guard. Someone said in the comment section to me, think of the 3 Sangre Guard as like 3 8-bound. Like they're... I mean, here's the thing. If you've got 3 Sangre Guard, they're actually 6 OC. They're kind of like those Outriders. So, you know, their OC isn't nothing. If you have one other unit on the objective with them, you probably have quite a lot of OC. Kelladin Gaming, you're more than welcome. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. You have a great evening, all. I'll see you some point this week, 100%. You know, I'll be here. I'll be making content as always. Have a great night. Thanks again for watching. Join us in the Discord, !Discord if you're not there yet. And we'll see you later this week. Steel Rain, it's really nice to see you in chat again. It's been too long, brother. So you guys all have a great evening. See you later. Bye-bye.